Okay. So now I'm going to continue from where I ended the previous time, where I'm going to be looking at some exam style of questions. So I'm just praying to finish this in less than a minute, even though it looks like it might not be possible. But otherwise, what I'm actually indicating to you is that for this type of questions, you need to make sure that you do not waste any time, but you just very quickly deal with them decisively. So I'm going to work out this problem, which is more or less the same to an exam type of questioning. So let's see if you are going to be able to understand. But most importantly, you need to carefully consider that given pattern, which is -7. You've got -3, you've got 1, you've got 5, and then you've got some more terms in between, and 117 being the last one. That's how you know that you've got a number pattern whereby the last term, it is that one there. Otherwise, if there was nothing there, it would just indicate that it is just continuing up to infinity. So now 3.1.1, they want you to write down term 4 and term 5 of this given number pattern. Most importantly, the first thing that you are interested in doing is to find out if this indeed is a number pattern. And not only that, but also to try figure out what type of a number pattern is this. The first thing that you would do, it is to firstly test if we are having a common difference. And you can only find out if you say this minus that. Remember, because these are negative values, you will therefore need to put it inside the brackets and say -3 minus -7. This is the only part where one can go wrong, because with you not putting the negative values inside the brackets, that's where you are most likely to make some mistakes. So now let's quickly check. I'm just hoping that I can make those mistakes so that you can see how easy it is to make those mistakes. Luckily with me, because I've worked these things out before, I do have the memo. So I will therefore notice, just so that in the recording doesn't have those too many unsolved mistakes. So when you minus that and that, it definitely gives you what? It gives you that 4. So that means, again, when you say this minus that, what does it give you? If you say 5 minus 1, it must therefore give you 4. So 5 and 1, I don't need to put them inside the brackets because it's positive values. So now it is clear that we are having a CD, common difference, because we can see that that first difference, it is equal or the same as that second one. For that reason, if we want to find out what is a term 4, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and write down term 4 and term 5. Okay, term 4 is already given. Yes, term 4 is already given, but it's fine. Sometimes they would say maybe a term 5 and also term 6. Maybe they did intend to say term 4, just to check if you pay maximum attention to details. Because now you just need to say that term 4, you plus it by the common difference, and then it gives you that term 6. They said term 4 and term 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, term 5 actually. So with you answering the question, it seems to be easy. You will just say term number 4, it is already given as 5. Term number 5, it is the one that you just calculated where you say 5, that you plus it by that 4, and it gives you 9. And that is the end of it. So We are done in answering question 3.1.1. So now let's jump on to the second one where they want you to write down the general formula for the nth term of the sequence. This is where now I was saying the moment they say the nth term, it is actually that Tn that they want you to calculate. It shouldn't be complicated because 3.1.2, you firstly start writing the formula, which is that into that, and then multiplying that. Obviously, Tn is what you're looking for. A being the first term of the sequence. What is that? That is -7. So that means you've got your -7, which is the A value. Then your formula should be in a form of n minus 1, where your common difference, you calculated it to be 4. So you now simplify. That's all that you do. And you already learned how to simplify. Where you do that by that by that, it will definitely give you that and then that. So you see now, it's up to you in terms of how you write it. You can still say negative, is it going to be 13? I think it's going to be -13, that you plus it by 4n. The 13 coming from negative, not 13, why 13? -11, I'm thinking of something now. -11, yes, that you plus it by 4n, but it's always best if your n is a positive value, that 4n, rather write it as positive 4n minus 11. So that's how you easily deal with that one. But most importantly, honorable member, please be aware that it's always safer to just punch on your calculator. Can you see now I said negative 7 minus 4, it's -13, because there I'm thinking of 9 for that -7. So imagine if now I just work it in my head and I don't punch it on the calculator. That's where the problem is. Not that I do not know how to work it out, but because of such mistakes, they will cost you a lot of marks. Okay, determine the value of the 30th term of the sequence. Now things are starting to be easier because already you did calculate the nth term. Now what they want you to do is to calculate the 30th term, where you just take that same formula, but where you see n, you're going to put 30 there. So obviously you already have the general formula, which is like that, whereby all now that you need to do is to substitute the 30 there, you minus by 11. That's how you easily work it out. Now I'm going to use the calculator and say 4 into 30 minus 11, it gives 109. Yes, that's what I'm getting as 109. So that's how you deal with that one. So now 3.1.4, what do they want there? Let's see what the question was. How many terms are there in the sequence if the last term is that? This type of a question, very easy, honorable member, very easy. This is where I was saying, you will just need to be careful with the question to know in which instances are you calculating Tn being the nth term, just like they said the 30th term. That's how you know you're calculating Tn. To say in house number 30, it is 103 people. So now this question is like they're saying, in the house number where, or in the house where you are having 117 people, what is that house number? So it is n that you are actually looking for. So using that same formula, which says Tn equals to, because already it is simplified, you no longer need to rewrite it as the original formula, but you just always continue with this one, because even if you start with the original formula, you will come back to this simplified formula, whereby now you will say 117 equals 4n minus 11. Take this 11 to the other side. Let's see what you get. 117. Where you plus 11, it gives you 128. So that means you are having 128 being equals to 4n, where you will divide both sides by 4 just so that you can remove it. Then you end up having your n, which is equals to 128 that you divided by 4, and it gives you 32. So that is exactly how you know that what is it? House number 32, it has got so many people. Something of that nature, honorable member. I'm just saying this so that you are able to know in which instances do you calculate and in which instances do you calculate what is it? Nth term. Yes. Okay. Here comes an interesting question. Here comes an interesting question whereby you are given a linear number pattern in terms of that. You see, you are given a linear number pattern given by the terms. You have that, you have that, you have that. So what they want you to do is to find the value of x and, most importantly, numerical value of the term or of the third term of term 3, the numerical value. So be careful of something very much important. You need to be able to know where your term separates. This thing, it is the one that separates a term, this thing. Nay. So that means this is a term, this is a term, this is a term. Very, very much important, that part. I'll just rewrite that here, and then we'll work it out. Not that much complicated, very, very easy. You will see x minus 4. Nay, it's a term. And then the second term, we are having 2x that we plus it by 1. Nay. Then we are having 2x where we minus 3. So the way in which you approach this question is for you to know that already they mentioned to say this thing is a linear equation. What do we know about not linear equation, but a linear number pattern or arithmetic number pattern? So what we know is that when we say this term and we minus it by that term, meaning when we say term 2 minus it with term 1, it must be equals to when we say term 3 minus term 2, meaning it is same as term 3 minus term 2. There you are having your equation, whereby all that you need to do is to take your term 2. What is your term 2? Your term 2 is 2x, where you plus 1, you minus it by, be very careful, you put it inside the brackets because it has 2 terms. Then you write it as x minus 4. And then now you can equate it to your term 3, which is 4x minus 3 minus, be careful, 2x plus 1. Reason why they ask this question is because they know someone is not going to put it inside the brackets. And with you not doing that, it means already everything is wrong. So now all that you need to do is to solve for x. You know how to solve for x most. And you've got your 2x plus 1. You start with that invisible one when you see that by that, that by that. Then you get negative x. Obviously, negative times negative is a positive, and then 4 there. You still have your 4x minus 3. What is this? That negative times that, it becomes negative 2. That negative times that, it becomes negative 1. You know, most letters one side, numbers one side. Obviously, this and that works out to be just x because it's like 2x minus 1x. This and that, it works out to be 5. See, now you simplify it nicely where you say that and that, it ends up giving you 2x. And that, it gives you negative 4. If you now If you want, you can still take this x to the right-hand side. Still fine. This 4 to the left-hand side. And then it becomes 4 plus that 5, it becomes 9, which is equal. That if you take it to the other side, definitely change the sign. And then it becomes, it's like you're saying 2x minus x, which becomes x. Whereby looks like you end up having your x, which is equals to 9. Just hoping that I've done that calculation correctly there. But the nice thing is that we can verify if the calculation is correct. Most importantly, remember, they said you need to do that and also find the numerical value of term number 3. The only way to find the numerical value of term number 3, you take that x, you substitute it there. And also, if they said for term 2, you would substitute it there. If they said for term 1, you would substitute it there. Then you punch it, you get the numerical value. Sometimes they could say for term 4. That means you will punch it there. After punching it there, most importantly, you need to know the numerical value of your common difference so that you will use that common difference to add it to that. I think I will just add a question there and work it out. So what I mean by that is you will therefore say 4 into 9 minus 3. So that means your term, what is it? Term number 3 should be equals to, what is that? 4 into, should be 4 into 9, because the x value is 9, will be minus 3, and that ends up being 4 times 9 minus 3. It is 33. Yes, it is 33. So, okay, imagine now if they said rewrite this sequence in terms of numerical values. Already you know what that term there is. You also do this one here, and then you are going to have, let's see, you can still say term number 2 is equals to, what was it? I think it was 2x, where we see x, we put 9, was it minus 1? Let me quickly verify. No, it's a plus 1. It's a plus 1. That times that is 18, plus 1, it becomes 19. Then now imagine if you had to calculate term 1. Term 1, it would be x plus 4, which would be 9, plus 4, which is the same as what? Is it 13? Is it 13? I hope so. Not, yes, you see now, not plus 4, but minus 4. Not plus 4, but minus 4, because I can see that there is a short gap there. Minus 4, and what will that be? Is it 5? Looks like it's 5. Which means you are having this sequence in terms of numerical values as that, and that, and up to that. So let's see, if you say this minus that, what does it give you? 19 minus 5, it gives 14. So that means even when we say this minus that, it must give us 14. If not, then something is wrong. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. It gives 14. So that's how you work it out, honorable member. Then if, for example, they said find that term 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, term number 4, then you just add that 33 by 14. What do you get? It gives you 47. Then you would say term number 4, it's equals to 47. That's if they wanted you to calculate term number 4. Yes. I think I will leave it here and say until we meet again. Looks like we have covered that. So I'm just going to give you a test which is more like an exam type. But otherwise, think all was clear. Now I'll just leave it here and say until we